Hi, I'm Fleming here with Young Epilepsy. We're filming a video with the wonderful and lovely Amy Jackson, who's a friend of mine. And
Hi,
hi, Amy. And this will be for the channel, which is a new online platform we're launching for National Epilepsy Week.
Amazing, incredible cause. Super happy to be here.
Thank you so much,
Your
Amy,
lovely
for doing this.
face.
So we're going to ask you some questions. Let's get started.
Go for it.
Can you tell me a bit about your career so far and what your personal highlights have been?
Okay, so I started filming and working when I was 16, and now that's a little while later, 10 years later, 10, 12 years almost, which is incredible. It's such a roller coaster. And throughout that time, I've filmed the majority of my movies in India, Bollywood and Tamil films, and I've done 16 of those films now. So there's been a lot, and it was a lot of back to back, and it was from one film to the next to the next. But I actually think my favorite film was the last one I did before I got pregnant, and that was called 2.0, purely because it was full of special effects. It was a sci-fi fantasy, and we had different technicians from all over the world come in and work on that film. So it was great to have a real mixture of like the creme de la creme of the movie industry. So that was great. That was a real highlight.
So obviously you have a very demanding job, as we've just heard. And obviously because of your acting career and your modeling career and stuff, there isn't always as much structure as obviously a 9 to 5 office job. How do you deal with that and kind of keep yourself motivated?
Yeah, see, that has been one of the challenges that I've had to face. But then again, when I started, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different. So that constant on the go, here, there, and everywhere, this country to the next country, filming like 18 hours a day, that became the norm. But then when I actually finally did take a step back and I moved back to the UK, and I decided, right, I'm going to take a good couple of weeks at least, or a couple of months in between each film. I was at a loss for myself, so I couldn't structure my life. I didn't, whether I was coming or going, and that was quite difficult, but it forced me to sit with myself and get to know myself again, and like actually ask, okay, what do I want to do today, and what do I want to do with life, rather than just, running everywhere and being a bit scatterbrained. It actually forced me to take a step back, which is really important because, routine is everything in that sense. It gives you, some grounding, and that's what I haven't had for the last 10 years. So having structure and being settled and asking, myself, what do you need right now? That has helped enormously.
I'm sure, and going from being thrown in the deep end and going at a million miles an hour to then suddenly not have anything to do. So also, obviously, you've just had your beautiful baby. How are you juggling all the balls in the air and coping with being a new mum?
Well, right now it's brilliant because I don't have to do anything at all other than just be a mum. And you know what? I always had a slight niggle that I went back to work a little bit too early. I'm a workaholic, like as you can see with things. And I did go back into work maybe 3 or 4 weeks after I had Andreas. So this time right now, has been like a blessing in disguise in that sense that there's a silver lining to get that uninterrupted time with him, but also good family and good support. When I do work, I've got my mum. I've just got a little cottage down the road actually from us, because I know I would be nothing without my mum. So I think to have a good support system around you when you've got a baby is vital. These girls who do it on their own, hats off to them. I don't know how they do it, but they're incredible.
Well, babe, hats off to you, obviously.
Thanks, love.
You look adorable, by the way. Absolutely
Oh,
adorable. I melt every time.
I can't wait for you to
Okay, so obviously you've got a huge platform and an amazing following as well. And so what is the best thing about having that platform?
I think doing things like this, truthfully, to have that voice, to be able to raise awareness and speak about causes that are really close to my heart, and get that message out. It's an incredible platform, but with that, amount of following comes responsibility, and social media can be a really powerful tool in a really positive way and a negative way. So you've got to really assess every single thing you do and everything you say, because it really can have an effect on people. but definitely for getting the word out about amazing charities like yours, and a few of my other charities. I think that's one of the greatest, impacts social media can have.
Good. Well, I'm happy, and thank you so much
Yeah,
again for doing this.
that was my
So,
pleasure.
how do you plan for the unexpected?
Well,
Totally random, but
yeah, no, but no, yeah, my whole life has been very unexpected. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like an expert in the unexpectedness. Honestly, coming back to Indian films in general, have you been to India? Have you been to
I
India?
have, yes. I went for a
So
photo.
as you know, then yeah, it's incredible. Put it pace, and it's all over the place, and you don't know what you're going to get when you jump in that rickshaw and you're on from one place to the next. And that's what like being on set is kind of like. I'd learn my dialogues, and these are in a foreign language, and I didn't know the language at that point, and I'd learn them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior. You get to set and they change it. So after like the 11th and 12th time of them doing this, the director, I'd be like, all right, let's just go with it. Let's just see what happens. And I think I've just incorporated that into my life and into my lifestyle. Just go with the flow and, do what you can. And that's all you can do in that sense. But I do like to be prepared. I think preparation is key, and, it just makes you feel better. You're ready for anything in that sense. You're ready for it, but you can't always plan life. So just go with the flow and see what happens.
Okay. And then obviously we can see from how incredibly beautiful you are that you're very healthy and you create a very good routine. And I love all the wellness stuff you do.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for your mental and physical health to look after yourself?
It's only very recently that I've really taken a real in-depth look at my mental health, because without that, you don't have anything, and that can really make or break a person. And I've had some really dark times, but over the past, I'd say 4 or 5 months, only recently, really, I've taken that time to really spend and invest in my mental health. And my spiritual guidance teacher I have once a week. And that gives me a good grounding, and also meditation. And that has completely changed the whole setup and rewiring in my brain. Just a bit of a coping mechanism.
I've been watching your video when you talk about
Babe, I'm obsessed.
planted the ground with your feet and then your hands up.
Honestly, I feel really passionately about it. And it's like this kind of magic that people know about it, but until you feel it and until you feel the effects of it, you just can't explain it. It's a brilliant coping mechanism and something I feel like everybody should practice. And then, if you don't have your mental health, you're not going to want to get to the gym, are you? You're going to want to lie in bed all day and lounge about. So working out is a big part of my life, but every day has to be different because I get bored easily. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm desperate to try your. What was your Yes, I'm desperate to try the boxing.
Well, babe, you can, because we're doing an event for Epilepsy Week on Tuesday.
Okay, I'll be there. Zoom.
Yes, on Zoom. No, it'll be on Instagram Live.
Instagram Live. Okay, I'll be there for sure. So boxing, a bit of bar, a bit of yoga. I'm gonna jazz it up with that, and then also, like you mentioned, the diet and the wellness, and what you consume has such an effect for your skin and for your gut health. So it's all a bit of everything, basically, a bit of everything dabbled into.
Well, it looks, whatever you're doing, it's working. We all need to follow
you, babe. You're glowing, babes. Lockdown looks good on you.
Corona, trust me, I need to tick all of those boxes. Finally, my doll, what advice would you give to young people who are also trying to follow their dreams and reach their goals?
I massively believe that dedication and determination is everything. And you can be talented, you can be the most talented person in the room, but without that dedication and focus, it means nothing if you don't apply it. So I really believe that you have to put everything into your passion. You've got to perfect your craft. You've got to go that extra mile, because that's what you'll be remembered for. So definitely just keep believing in yourself and keep passionate with that purpose.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think that's the best advice, keep going for it. Keep
Keep
going.
going. Don't give up.
Well, my babe, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, my lovely.
And for giving us your time and all your wonderful words of wisdom.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the lovely questions.
That's all right.
Okay,
Okay, bye.
take care. Thank you, my darling. Bye.